Good evening, everyone. Okay. So today we are just going to see certain topics from the Hindu newspaper for the day 28th of April 2026. Okay. So you will get this PDF in the description box. Okay, and also you can scan this QR code to join the Telegram channel to get this PDF. Okay. So these formalities you all know. So we will get into the session right away. So for today we have certain topics. Kind of a good newspaper this time. It is a good newspaper, but थोड़ा आज ज़्यादा न्यूज़ हैं और वो भी थोड़ा सा प्रिलिम्स ओरिएंटेड भी एंड देयर इज अ स्कोप ऑफ मेंस आल्सो फ्रॉम दीज टॉपिक्स सो लेट्स सी ठीक है ना तो फर्स्ट वन होप इट इज विजिबल फॉर एवरीवन शुड आई जूम इट फर्स्ट वन इज अबाउट India New Zealand FTA, right? So yesterday we talked that India and New Zealand have signed it, right? The FTA, and we are just going to see what are all the things that have been finally signed and what are all the things that have been agreed upon from the both the sides. Okay. So apart from that, we have already seen like what is the benefit of this free trade agreement and what are all those things. Okay. So yes, visible. Thank you. So in this perspective, is important for us in the GS3 paper when it comes for the economical terms. Generally, FTAs will be helping us in that particular section, right, in the economical terms. So the next one is about the digital public square. This editorial is basically about like how the new rules of IT, okay, in 2026 March 30 we have released a new draft, right? So how it is performing and how it is like impact of those new rules, how it is actually impacting in freedom of speech and everything that we are going to see. So it is purely GS2 polity part. Okay. Then it comes to the third one, it's again about the 10th schedule. So yesterday we saw, right, the chairman or the speaker, their decision is final. Okay, and we are just going to see like how sometimes the political imbalances will be there and the different opinions will be there when it comes to this like party jumping and everything. Okay, so based upon this anti-defection law, we are just going to see the revisal of it. Okay, revisal in the sense we are just going to revise the basics, and also we are just going to discuss like what is the exact thing right now happened in the Rajya Sabha. Okay, rather than a political news, we are just going to focus on what are all the steps that will be as procedure by law, what will be happening. Okay, so again it is in the GS2 paper. Quality. Okay. Fourth one is about AI in middle school. So we all know global standards are rising, and now kids are learning robotics. They are performing in their robotics field very well, and also machine learning, AI, all these kind of things are important. Like now, it is kind of a digital era in the global times, right? So now how important is for the school students to understand all these AI mechanisms and tools. So how far we can bring it in the syllabus so that it will be effectively helping in their learning and everything. Okay, so that we are going to see. And the fifth one is about BRICS. So this article basically a criticism. Okay, one particular political party member have criticized about the recent summit, okay, of the BRICS. We will be seeing, we are not going to talk about the political news or something, we are just going to see what was the criticism based upon. Okay. So again, the IR perspective, it is important, and also we will be knowing some basics also. Okay. The SCO, again the Shanghai Cooperation International Organization, so IR के लिए हमें ये तो चाहिए. ठीक है. So these are the topics that we are going to cover here. Okay. So if the topics are clear, shall we move forward? Okay. First one, India New Zealand sign historic free trade deal. So here if you see why it is historic, certain things are there where though this talk have been started in 2025, okay, but it have been finally came into the ratification and the signing, everything is done like almost everything have been settled nearly December 2025. Okay, so now in 2026 April we have completely wrapped up all the procedures, and now we are into what, this free trade agreement have been finally completed all its procedure, and we are going to go with these things. Okay, so why it is historic? It is stated that it is one of the like it is the first time in India's history, it is the fastest trade agreement that have been signed. When you see EU, it is like around 10 years duration tha, right? So since then the agreement was keep on postponing, or the add-ons were keep on adding, right? So all these things are happening. So it is marked as a huge, because two booming economies are coming into the partnership when it comes to the trade, and the second thing is about it is the fastest trade agreement that have been signed ever in India's case. Okay, so this is the major thing why we call it as a milestone. Keep that in mind. If you see why it is very important to keep this fact in mind, because while framing the answer you can bring it out like how India is progressing from 10 years delayed agreement to the fastest, within a year or something we have achieved this. So how the India's progression when it comes to the international diplomatic talks and everything, trade and everything. So these kind of things you can write it in a comparative manner. So that is why we are discussing. Okay, with no further delay, let's get into the topic. Okay, no much add-ons. So milestone agreement, where it reflects the conversion of values, trust and shared ambition. Shared ambition, here it is about the competitive world. Okay, so not only acquiring the market or something, here we are just going to keep that in mind, like both booming economies with their individual products. Okay, they are just going to exchange their market, there will be a huge competition. Okay, so see, it is a positive competition. Sometimes we need a push for us, right? So if you are being stagnant, if you are keep on doing the same routine, मजा नहीं आएगा, राइट? तो अगर आपको कोई कंपटीशन मिला, अगर आपको एक स्पार्क मिला कि भाई उनसे तो मुझे आगे बढ़ना है ना, so that spark will be there and it's a positive one. ठीक है, so we will be having a higher competitive global trends also, and it is basically upon the trust. Okay, why it is trust? Because New Zealand is not only having the free trade agreement only with India, otherwise they are engaged with multiple countries also, where China and multiple countries are also having the trade agreement. Okay, so it is kind of based upon trust, because the interest, okay, of New Zealand should be kind of compiling with this strategic autonomy on the sovereignty of whom, the India. At the same vice versa, it have to be happen. Okay, so the areas where the India have been protected its own sectors, right, like dairy sector and everything, same kind of that New Zealand will also be protected. So this kind of sovereignty have to be maintained there. So that is the trust based upon and the values we are exchanging. Okay, so it is not only about the trade, eventually it is going to talk about the investment and also people to people ties. So we can move forward for any occupational opportunities, okay, for the studies, whatever it is. So people to people ties also will be extended, and also otherwise the investment also will be adding upon. Okay, so this is the major feature of this agreement, which is trade. Okay, the positive competition, and also a very good evening, Aniket. Okay, and also our investment and people to people ties will also be there. Okay, then so if we see the deal dynamics, majorly we have seen yesterday, right? Like what are all the areas that have been protected, like dairy products, okay, the oils, everything have been protected, right? So pulses, all these have been we have saw it yesterday itself. So now we are just going to see crux of it. Okay, so from New Zealand side, India received like 100% of tariff relief. Okay, so whatever India is exporting to New Zealand, whatever the Indian products that are being going to New Zealand, so there will be no tariff, there will be no duties for those products. But when it comes to India, when New Zealand's products are coming to India, at that time we will be having the reduced tariffs, and we will be having the tariff relaxation for 95% of the products. keep that in mind. India's exports will be completely tariff free, and New Zealand's New Zealand's export to India, it will be around 95% will be tariff free. Okay, so even this 95% have been segregated in three terms. One is immediate elimination. Okay, so when it comes to this immediate elimination, the goods like wood, wool, and also leather raw, okay, the raw material of the leather products, right? So these will be having immediate elimination. Okay, so whatever the things, the wood, wool, and also the leather raw will be coming from New Zealand, no? So that will be having what? The immediate elimination of the tariff. And phased wise, India will be giving the elimination for petroleum oil. Okay, because right now diversifying our energy is important, but at the same time we cannot take a big step also, right? So keeping that in mind, the phased wise elimination will be there. First one is about the petroleum oil, vegetable oils, and certain selective electrical machineries will be having what? The phased wise elimination. And the tariff reductions will be for wine, okay, pharma, and also polymers, aluminium, iron, and steel articles. So here we are just having the tariff reduction where at least minimal like 5%, 2% of the tariffs will be at least there. Okay, for example, I am telling. Okay, but here immediately all the tariffs will be cancelled for wood, wool, and leather, right? And when it comes to phase wise, the tariffs will be completely eliminated for petroleum oil, vegetable oil, and selective electrical machinery. Clear till now? You know? Okay. Abhi, we are going to see the protected areas. Even yesterday we have seen. Just we are going to revise it. The protected areas of Indian sectors are dairy products. Yesterday also we have discussed that New Zealand have a very great the dairy production, right? So to protect the dairy India's internal domestic sectors, okay, we are just keeping in mind that dairy products, the cooperatives, keeping in the mind cooperatives, we are just going to protect the dairy products. Okay, it may it will be compiling with milk, cream, whey, yogurt, and cheese, etc. Okay, and also again go and read PIB. Again, I am telling you because these specifications of the products will be mentioned there. Okay, so read that. And also the animal products other than sheep meat. Okay, so this will be excluded in the, like, these are being protected areas. Okay, agricultural products like onions, chana, peas, corn, almond, and everything. Okay, sugar, artificial honey, all these things are mentioned in yesterday's PDF. You can see that. Okay, copper and articles therefore of cartridges, rods, and everything, aluminium and articles. Okay, so these are the things that have been protected from India's side. Bhai, हमने वो New Zealand को बोला, this is like these are the areas which is very sensitive for India, so we will be protecting this area. So you cannot bring dairy products of New Zealand, you cannot bring the aluminium, all these things, the agricultural products and all will not be allowed. Okay, so there will be tariffs. It is like there will be tariffs for those products, and you cannot bring your own products and dump here. Okay, based upon the sensitive sectors. This is what the crux of it. Okay, so one more thing, if you see about this free trade agreement is about, okay, it makes the thing cheaper, easier to trade, and competitive. Competitive तो हमने बात कर ली, right? So it brings the New Zealand products cheaper, and India's product also will be cheaper there, so that we will be getting larger market. So people will be like our textiles, apparels, everything will be given there. So the cultural exchange also will be there, right? So when it comes to the textiles, the fabric, and also the apparels, okay, the recently the claimings and all was coming, no, like for the lehenga and cholapuri, all these are like different they are claiming their regional cultural identity, right? So for eliminating that also, we can, this will be helpful for us. Okay, if it is exporting from India, the cultural exchange will be understood globally. So we will be having that identity also, we will be having the market, and also those cultural establishment also will be there in the global wise. Okay, so this is much important. One more thing I would like to add on here is, what if, okay, We have discussed, no, like that China is also having free trade agreement with New Zealand. So indirectly, what Chinese products are being dumped in India. So that is one of a major challenge for India. So there we have to keep a check on it, because see, sometimes I'm not being very crucial or scrutiny here, but sometimes what they do to protect the their own domestic things, okay, to protect their own domestic sectors, they will be giving up all the other things. Okay, if China is giving certain products or Japan is giving certain products to New Zealand, and if it is overwhelming for the domestic market, okay, so that particular country will be shifting all those products to whom? The other country who is having the free trade agreement. So the challenge with the free trade agreement is the origin of the products have to be taken care, and also there should be the sensitive sectors, not only the sensitive sectors, the budding sectors also have to be protected from these free trade agreements, where our craftsmanship, our economy and our specializations will be growing. Okay, so this we have to keep in mind. So Venkatri have told us like key trends in India's trade, right? What diversification trade partners, right? Okay, so this is very good analysis, Venkatri. Okay, moving on. Clear? बाकी इसमें तो लिखा हुआ है, and you can compare yesterday's PDF and today's PDF. ठीक है, so you will be getting it. ठीक है. Okay. So a tightening of the fist in India's digital public square. So here this editorial is basically upon like the it is kind of some criticism based upon the new draft of IT rules of 2026. We have discussed in March 30, 2026, new IT rules have been proposed, right? So there what we have got is like the rules that have been given is slightly showing that the government's control will be na upper hand. Okay, the surveillance will be more. Okay, so this is kind of something where the freedom of expression sometimes will be questioned under the scrutiny, and also it is violating certain guidelines given by the verdict given by the Supreme Court and everything. Okay, so we will be seeing one by one. Okay, first thing, so the new draft amendment of the IT rules 2026, this whole article is saying the core concern is about there may be increased government control over online speech and reduced freedom of expression. So what is talking here about? Normal user, even I can put some political my opinion on certain political parties or something. It should be in a decent manner. The positive criticism should be there, right? And along with that, there should be some the language that I use, all these things have to be very disciplinary, like the parliamentary, right? So apart from that, for surveilling all these things, what if my opinion is against or not against, is it differs from the political party's ideas, and if I am criticizing their work on certain roads or whatever the infrastructure is, because in recent days if you see the bridges that they are constructing, the the government is constructing, it is falling even before the opening of it, right? So what if I want to stage this for the people, like this is happening, this is happening, this is not working properly, or if I want to put some criticism or my opinions or cartoons, memes, whatever it is, okay? So if the government is having higher authority in that, and what if it curtails the freedom of expression for you? You cannot say your problems, you cannot bring it to the outer stage, what your locality is facing, right? So immediately the government will, the executive will be coming into it, and they will be removing this content, right? So these are the things that explaining that this new IT rules are bringing the uphand for the government, and it is curtailing the freedom of expression. Okay, clear? The context is clear, right? So we will be seeing one by one. So the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, okay, they have recently given this rules. Okay, so where the technical changes have been mentioned, where the freedom of speech Okay, and also the social media regulation have been mentioned there. Okay, they have the problem here is whenever there is any new rules are being set, there will be always a loophole if you have understood. Okay, there won't be clear definition, there won't be any clear pathway, like the SOPs will not be provided properly, right? Something or other will be keep on missing, so that there will be loophole made it, right? So the same thing happens here also, we will be seeing in the following things. So the social media regulation, where we have recently read about the safe harbor also, right? This that is also present in here, we will be seeing. The, when we see the rules, it is showing that government powers over the content, okay, and also they will be having the surveillance, which may include in our privacy as well. So how it is privacy being affected here? Because privacy is like, see, normal users also will be monitored by the government, whatever the content I am posting in my social media platform like X, Facebook, Instagram, whatsoever it is, okay. So the government will be having some certain algorithms and there will be surveilling it, okay. So for this data and everything, what the platforms, the social media platforms have to monitor my data, and they will be seeing my all the activities. So here the problem is the social media platforms, the third parties will be having my data access, and also my actions, my opinions, the privacy will be shared along with them, and also it will be there is no confirmation that those data is only for surveillance of government, right? It may be used in some other areas also. So there the privacy has been questioned, and also government power over the content. So this is the major problem here. So if the content has been surveilled in a major thing, and if they immediately have the power to remove those content, where my freedom of speech and expression goes. So here the article have been challenged is article 19. Okay, keep that in mind. And also surveillance is a good thing, because along with the, see, everything is like, to an extent it is positive, but if it is overreaching the things, then it won't be nice at all, right? So that is what the whole article is talking about. Okay. Here the draft amendments of to India's information technology rules trigger fears of digital overreach and departure from existing judicial rulings. Coming to the this judicial rulings, where Supreme Court have already told that, okay. So if there is any if there is any content is been like that, if they want to remove, okay, when the IT rules have been formed, at that time it have been mentioned that, okay. So either there should be court order should be there, or else a government notice should be given based upon the law to that particular content, okay. So that have to be made, that have to be there, okay. Without any court order, without any no government notice, you cannot remove that content and you cannot put them into the scrutiny. But this have been violated here, where it like when the executive is seen, like when the content has been observed that it is not fitting in the said matter, okay, then it will be like immediately removed by those executives, and there is no court order is necessary here. So this is weakening the already given the Supreme Court's judgment also. So here we could see there is a overreach for this judicial proceedings, okay, and along with that we are able to see the privacy, like privacy is being missed, okay. The government is having little overreach, okay. So that is what been discussed here. So the main concerns discussed in this article is about, okay, more government power without court orders, okay. So what here is we have mentioned here, right, there must be either court order or the government notice, but here without the court orders we can proceed. So the X, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, whomsoever it is, they have to remove the content immediately. And this, for this platforms, okay, so they will be having certain rules and regulations, okay. It is like you have to follow that oblige, okay. Otherwise, if you are not following that, yeah, okay, that is what I mentioned in 19, the whole one, okay. And also okay, coming back, okay. So this valid notice should be there, and the court order should be there. If it is not there, okay, and you have to, these platforms should compile to the obligations and the rules and regulations that have been proposed. If not, they will not be having the mechanism of safe harbor. Safe harbor is nothing but, see, if I compile to these regulations and I follow those set of rules and regulations that my government have given, okay, if I have followed that, being a social media platform, if I have followed that, so if there is any post that is not good for the government or whatever the thing is, like if any user have been posted that, so the legal scrutiny will be for whom? Those posters only, okay, those who have posted. The social media will not be having any problem, okay, they will be having the time to remove those content, okay, the legal procedures will be on those who posted only. But if I am not compiling with these rules that these new draft have been given, so what it implies, it will be like, whomsoever is posting whatever the content, okay, I should take the responsibility, the social media platform should be taking the responsibility, and the questions will be arising against me only. I will be having very less time period for removing those content, okay. So there is a nexus for that also. So it is like, either you have to compile or you should compile to those rules only, because increasing the scrutiny, increasing the responsibility and accountability more on the platforms, it will may discourage them to perform, right. So it is like kind of, you have to compile with our rules only. So that is where they have talked about more government power, okay. And the third one is about ordinary uses also will be coming under government monitoring. So here we are talking about the privacy, where, okay, the government will be monitoring even the individual users also. So again, the search history, my the downloaded things, like if I like the meme or if I have downloaded certain pictures or something, all these things will be monitored by the government. Even the individual ordinary users will be monitored by the government, okay. So here our privacy and the scrutiny will be little high, okay. Then the fourth one is about the interdepartmental committees get more power. Here what it is like, they have said that, okay, the interdepartmental committees, earlier it was like they will be just inquiring on those, okay, they will be just understanding what is the content is and they will be bifurcating and they will be giving. But now after these rules, they will be coming as a tool of like judging tool, okay, they will be having the authority for removal of those content also. So where these interdepartmental committees will be getting more power, even they can remove, okay, like the judgmental things, okay, the authoritative power has been given to these new interdepartmental committees, where it is a part of either court or it is under the court direction it have to be done, or else the government direction have to be done. But in the first stage itself, they are filtering those things, then it is not that good, okay. So that is what they are criticizing here. So one more thing is undefined matter, which we talked about. So if government is removing certain matters, if removing certain content, it have to be mentioned under what basis and why this has been removed, right. So if that is like the grounds of removal itself is not been mentioned in an elaborated way, it is just mentioned as the matter. So if there is any matter against government or something, so that is becoming a loophole here. So they can put anything, like even a small criticism can be coming under this matter only. So that is what the major issue they are quoting here. And then apart from that, more data retention equal to more surveillance. So the data will be taken care, right, or whatever the search history, okay, and my interest or opinions, my conversations, everything will be monitored, each and everything is being monitored, right. So where my privacy will be there. So the more data retention, because for this, whenever any scrutiny is coming around, they will not be going with one particular incident only. They will be completely looking after my all other conversations or whatever the activities, the digital activities, right? So those online activities also will be having, those data also will be retained from there, where the more surveillance will be happening based upon that. So here the privacy violation is there because somebody is looking into my conversation, whatever the conversation is, somebody is looking into my conversation. And also the misuse of data. Here it is two things. One is more data retention is there. So either the social, first instance who will be having those data, social media platform. I don't know, like those social media platforms will be keeping my data safe, they won't be leaking anything, or they will not be selling my data. There is no promise for that, right? So the misuse of data can also be happening. So this is kind of something little weakening the privacy of individuals. Okay? And also the consideration that we have to keep is public life. See, it is nowhere mentioned that you should not be having any restrictions or something. There should be some restrictions, there should be some, obviously surveillance should be there, okay, but in a in any suspicion we can go for it, or else if there is any continuous mishappenings, or if there is continuous actions against the government or influencing the people against the government, so those kind of things can be surveilled on a regular basis. But ordinary use is also being surveilled and my data are being restrained from these platforms, so that is not good, okay. So these are the things that they have mentioned here, so just read about it, okay. And always take one thing, your answers or your explanation should not be going against the government, it is just the criticism, the positive criticism, what they have like, what are all the things that is basically majorly concerned, okay, from when from the new draft rules of IT, okay. This you have to read about it. So sometimes author's language may be biased or against the government, so that time you have to take the ideas and you have to make sure that you are having a filtered language, okay. Clear till now? Shall we move further? Okay. So this is one of a quote that they have mentioned. Digital regulation should not become digital censorship. So here the censorship should not be the upper hand. ठीक है? So censorship मतलब क्या है? आप you will be filtering whatever is unnecessary. If you feel it is not relevant or if it is feeling against for exactly this, the Shreya Singhal is much important, okay. So because privacy is a substate of this, right? So for we can use the Shreya Singhal for more relevant judgment, okay. So here the digital regulation should be there, okay. The rules should be set for the people. Which time class? Okay, okay. So the digital regulation have to be made because it should be like the accountability should be there, right? So the social media platforms also should be having certain rules and regulations, but the censorship where the criticism cannot be kept, that is not possible at all. So that we have to keep it in mind. Okay, shall we move forward? Okay, the Gang of Seven, such a nice title, right? So this article basically upon the anti-defection law, which we have discussed earlier also. The background is about 7 MPs, okay, from certain particular party. They have been seated in, they have been, very good Anand. So they have shifted to another political party, which is not, by the law, it is not a appreciable one, and they have to, it is considered as a disqualification. Okay. Yesterday what we have seen, what are all the grounds of disqualification, which is like voluntary, I will be voluntarily resigning my membership. Also if any individual independent candidate or the nominated member have been joined to another political party, okay, or being in one party, if I am like not voting or going opposite to the directions of my party have given, that is also based upon the disqualification. So this will be 15 days prior, the notice will be given. the speaker or the chairman, whomsoever the presiding officer, they will be deciding, they will be inquiring, they will be deciding, and the final verdict will be given. Okay. And one more thing I wanted to add it here is, yesterday I have told that courts cannot question, but in 1992 the Supreme Court have told that, see, if the presiding officer have given their consent, like, okay, the decision have been made by the presiding officer, then the decision of the presiding officer will be coming under the judicial review. Okay, I am really sorry about it. The appeal can be done in the Supreme Court and the High Court. Okay, wherever you are feasible for. Again, like High Court ke through Supreme Court pe ho jayenge. So that is yesterday I wanted to clear it. Okay, so the courts can intervene and they will be questioning the what they will be questioning the decision, like on what grounds is it really valid, the concern, the decision of the presiding officer, is it really valid or not. Okay, okay, that will be questioned by the court. Okay, so again coming back to this, so what happened here is, when if you see the history, this defamation is not new to India, already it have happened certain times, where even the imbalances of the power have been done. Okay. So what here is, in Rajya Sabha 7 MPs they have moved, right. So the impact of that, what is that is, first one, the ruling party's strength have been increased in Rajya Sabha to 113. So it will be easy for the ruling party or the government, okay, rather than a ruling party we can say it as a government, it will be easy for the government to ratify those bills or act whatever they want, right, because the we need simple majority, special majority, whatsoever it is, right. So the majority already if they have, okay, in Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, it is easy for them to proceed with those bills, and the opposition will be having the lesser opportunity to to abstain those bills and act. Okay, so one is that, okay, there will be imbalance in the proportion also, and second thing, the upper house, okay, so that have been for the first time crossed the halfway, like the majority of the government, the ruling party have been raised more than the half of the strength. Okay, this is one of the other thing that we have to take into the consideration. If you see, if you read this article, you will be having some criticisms on the Aam Aadmi Party's procedure, the political themes and everything, and the how, like it have been said that the chairman is being biased or something. Okay, so all these political ideas you have to keep it outside. We are just going to see the static part alone. Okay, so whenever you read this, please eliminate those political masala newses in that. Okay, the party name or whatever the thing is, like, just remove that. Whatever is necessary, that we are going to see. Okay. So these are the impacts of those the moved MPs. Now we are just going to see under what condition the yesterday's anti-defection law will be happening. Okay. So yesterday we saw that anti-defection law will be impacting based on the grounds of disqualifications that we have mentioned, right. If any party member have joined after being elected, after getting the member of parliament identity, okay, if they are shifting to another political party, they will be disqualified. That is also one of the ground. So that ground is here. Okay. So in that case, there is an exemption as well. If any party is actually merging with another party and 2/3 of its members are shifting to that though that another party, then it will be exempted. And also for the speaker, it is exemption, there is exemption for speaker as well. Okay, excuse me. So under these exemptions, in Rajya Sabha they have claimed that the 7 members have been these MPs have been shifted, right, that have been mentioned as a merger. So it is exempted and there is no disqualification for them. So the problem, the best title in Gang of Seven, right, okay, okay. So this one is about, they have claimed it as a merger, okay, but actually it is not. When it will be merger is, first the political parties have to be merged, okay, so the core political party have to be merged with another political party, and along with the 2/3 of the members of political party have to move from this party to another. Okay, so that is the condition. These two conditions are must. Okay, but here neither the whole political party is been merged and the 2/3 of the people, matlab, it has not been done, right? So only this few member of this few MPs alone who have shifted, that will not be considered as a merger by law. But the chairman have told that ki भाई ये तो merger है, disqualification का जरूरत नहीं है, ठीक है? They have told that there is no point of disqualification here, ठीक है? So that is a major thing that we have to see here, ठीक है? So it is protected from this have been protected from the disqualification. So now the upper hand will be for the government and the majority is also with the government. So the voice will be unbalanced and also the representation also will be unbalanced. Okay, so this may affect the ideas of other areas. Concerns will not be heard that much properly because the parties always will be going with the the members will be going with the party's idea, right? So the party having the majority will be easily ratifying all those bills and laws, right? Okay, so the constitutional issue, why we are reading about this? Okay, so the constitutional issue here is, Supreme Court have already stated that the merger is about, okay, the disqualification will not be happening when it comes to the merger of the political party, and it is a must. Okay, the party must merge with the another party first, then only the 2/3 of the people who are shifting to another party will be considered as a exemption, but here there is no such kind. Okay, so criticism here in this article is about the fallen governments. Already for in the procedure of mass defections, the governments have been fallen. Okay, horse trading will be there. Okay, the political biasness will be there. The influence will be there. So this will be. If you see, okay, the focus should be like, are you asking from the newspaper or you're asking generally in the UPSC background? Because proportion of UPSC right now, it is little hike in current affairs related. Sometimes it is having the applied mechanisms, like based upon the current affairs, the statics are being asked and how it is being applied in the static parts are how being applied in the usual days, like the day to day. So you have to focus on more equally only, but you should be very well aware about the current affairs. Okay, so even the static part, if you are not able to retain one or two, when it comes to UPSC, if you are not able to retain one or two very detailed or facts, but at least you will be having the current affairs touch, then with that you can go for it, because the proportion of current affairs in nowadays, okay, it is slightly high than the static subjects. Okay, the interlinkage is more and also the current affairs is having. See, that is okay, Venkatri, that is right, okay. But the problem here is UPSC having the interlinkages also. So the proportion will be little different, okay. If you see, if there is any biodiversity loss, like in the Maharashtra side, we have read about the grasslands and everything, right? So you may expect the question for those one particular event also, and also the interlinkages with this to the static part of environment as well. So this proportion will be changing day by day, okay. But you have to be aware about the current affairs. Okay, coming back, okay, the majorly the governments have been fallen. So if a government, okay, already said government have been going well, if the party, the MPs have been moved to the opposition, then obviously they will be proposing with the no confidence motion, and the majority will be going, eventually they will be removing the government, the governments will be falling, first thing, okay. And also the change of parties is easier, okay, there is no proper mechanisms, so the MPs and MLAs, even the state legislature, people are shifting very easily. The procedure for those, Okay, okay, Anand. No, don't get confused. Okay, the questions will be kind of a mixed one only. Okay, you cannot skip current affairs completely because it is having a high hold, and also the static. Unless and until you are clear with static, you cannot solve the current affairs also. So keep that in mind. Just go whatever the news are coming in this. Okay, so you just have to be equally balanced, and you have to be very strengthened in the static part as well. Okay, that is why for this 10th schedule and everything we are going for the static. Okay, okay. So the it is being easier. There is no strength or a stronger mechanisms to take out it. Okay, then the courts often delays. Here is the problem. Okay, the court often delays. Why? Because already the pending cases are there. Okay, and when court can intervene only when the presiding officer have given the decision, right? So if the decision have been given by the presiding officer, and if the presiding officer have not given the direction or his opinion on that, okay, the final decision on that for 3 months, then you can apply for then you can appeal to the court, and it will be made what, then the court will be coming. So there will be some delays also. Already the delay is here for 3 months. Okay, and also what happens after that, also immediately court will not be happening. Okay, in the priority also will be done, right? So there will be furthermore delays also. Okay, then the speaker or chairman act politically. We all know the chairman and the speaker mostly from the ruling party, the government side only. They will be elected, the chairperson and the speaker will be elected by both the parties. Okay, with whom they are more trustworthy and everything. So both the parties, the opposition and the ruling party, will be choosing one particular person from the ruling government. Okay, they will be presiding as a speakers or chairperson. So it is somewhere or the other have the chances of, like, these speakers and chairmen are being little biased towards the ruling party, right? So these are the criticisms that they have given here. Okay, so other than that, they have said that, okay, anti-defection laws being misused through the merger loophole, which is weakening the democracy and voters mandate. So here it is about weakening the democracy. How? Like, the whole democracy have been voted for somebody, they have elected somebody, okay, along with the trust, and they have sent them, but that candidate is shifting the party where the voters mandate will be questioned and the democracy will be questioned when the government is falling, when there is any, like, the oppositions for any bill or something which is not been proposed, like with the majority bill has been passed. If there is any major concern, okay, if you see, they want to bring one particular treat IT rules. Let's take the example of IT rules. Okay, so if a ruling party wants to bring this new IT rules and having the executive more power, okay, the opposition, when there is no power from the opposition, when there is very limited opposition, they cannot oppose this bill. Eventually it will be ratified. So where the privacy and everything will be left behind, right? So that is what the democracy weakening we are talking about here. Okay, so this is what the major thing. Just read about it, and please do avoid the political news and the biasness. Okay, moving on. Can middle school students engage with AI? So if in this question, this article is saying obviously yes, middle school students can be learning all those AI and computation thinking as well. Okay, so the thing is here, right now CBSE have propose that we are just going to bring this AI and CT in the syllabuses for the class of 3 to 8, okay, where students age group between 8 to 12 or 13 will be having this syllabus in their syllabus. Okay. So in the global survey and also the reports, it is saying that whether the kids can understand this, aram say age from 11 to, here it have been mentioned, the age gap between 11 to 14 years, they can obviously understand these AI. The only thing is like the way of communicating, the way of teaching have to be helpful, matlab adaptable to them. Okay, otherwise kids from 11 to 14 they can easily understand this. Okay, so with this proved, even the global countries, okay, the other countries also have this mechanism, the tested and the trustworthy mechanisms, even the global countries having in their syllabus. Okay, it is running successfully. So having those examples, the successful examples, CBSE have been decided to inculcate in the syllabus, the AI and the computation thinking. Okay, so if you see what is computation thinking, okay, you can read here also, they have given the meaning as well. Okay, so if you see the computation thinking, it will be making you, okay, it will be making you to think logically to solve the problem. Okay, you will be like basically a problem solver there. Okay, as a code, it is not like a coder or something, as a problem solver you will be sitting. Okay, you may question like people with problems with max already, so how complexity it is going to be for CT, but it is not going to, the way वो पढ़ाने का तरीका होता है ना. Okay, so the पढ़ाने का तरीका होता है ना, so that is the major thing, be it any subject or be it anything. Okay, so it is like it's all in the way of teaching. Okay, so when we are going to see, we are just going to think in the way of being a problem solver. So first, for that, what we are going to see first is the abstraction. So we will be seeing the minimal, the smaller details also first. This is a good initiatives. Okay, Poshan Abhiyan and also midday meal scheme, free books, okay, compulsory education till age of 14, and many other like increasing the number of primary and secondary schools in the rural areas. Okay, so all these things are like very good initiatives, education. Adapting to the global trends and adapting to the day-to-day improvements, we have to go with this AI and other mechanisms as well. Otherwise, we have to again depend upon the skills for the skilled labor. Our labor and the youths will be stated under semi-skilled or unskilled. So for the skill development and also for the skilled labors, we need these kind of things have to be taught from the smaller age. Okay, so that is what important. Okay. So we are just in abstraction, we are going to see the details. Then the decomposition, we are going to break into smaller parts. Okay. After breaking the problem into the smaller parts, we are just going to identify the similarities, which is pattern recognition. Okay. So we are just going to identify the similarities. Then we are going to see what would be the solution and how we can be solving it. So that is the computational thinking here. Okay, whenever you code something, whenever you give something to the computer, most probably it will be going with these procedures only. It will be seeing into the details first. Okay, then it will be going step by step. And also when it comes to AI, we all know, right? AI chat box, okay, the responsive things and everything are being used right now, right? So even the Ghibli art, which we have turned the whole images and now we are creating more videos and everything. Okay, so the creativity is keep on growing. So the usage of AI is growing. Along with the usage, we should understand the components, how to use the AI, like how to build the AI. So this is very much important here for the students to understand the basics of this AI, how it works and what is the algorithm of it. Okay. So all of a sudden, if you go and teach the age of 11 to 14, what is like how AI will be coded and everything, they will not understand. But the basics at least they have to understand. Eventually, that will be helpful for them to go with the advanced level courses once they are getting graduated or before their graduation, then they can well versed with that. Okay, then it will be helpful for them to adapt the skill. Okay, First you have to give them the basics, they should understand what it is, they should know what it is, then eventually they will be going for the advanced level. That is what been discussed. Okay. So the many countries are being example for this, even the OECD and also European Commission have been having this successful in the successfully they are having it in their syllabus, and students are doing well and good. Okay. And also the global standards, it meets the okay certain things like the NEP, National Educational Policy of 2020, and also here it have been mentioned. Okay. It is going with the framework of National Curriculum Framework for School Education, okay, 2023, and also even UNESCO have been proposed for those syllabuses like what is AI, okay, what is AI, and also these foundations of computing and the data literacy. So these are things that are necessary for the students. Okay, so this have been mentioned in even the UNESCO. So by adapting this, by CBSE is adapting all these things, we are going with the global trends as well. We will be having the fundings from international forum where they will be kind of funding for our schools to learn all these things. Okay, we will be having the startups also growing from India. So somewhere or the other, along with the skill, okay, we will be having the opportunity. So the countries like Germany, Japan, all them are like well versed with the technology, right? So those skill if we obtain from the younger age, see, in there is a saying like the smaller kids will not be having much fear, okay, and the second thing, they will be having a higher grasping power. So if we are teaching them all these things, it will be very useful for them also. They can go with a wider range of opportunities, right? The world level opportunities they can grab, and also it will be eventually pushing this country, okay, who is having all these skilled youth, okay. And economically we can grow because adapting these kind of new mechanisms and new global trends, adapting by them, we will be having a higher uh, position in the global level. Okay. So one thing is about the education and skill, it will be always helping you. If you have the skill and the knowledge, it will be helping you at any point of time. Okay. So it is a very good initiative to bring the AI. Machine learning is not that easy, but computational thinking, like how you're going to solve this problem, like that is very important. The analytical skills will be growing. Okay. So that is what been discussed here. Okay. Just read about it. And for the challenges, okay, for the considerations that we have to focus here is about the risk for children. So not everybody will be knowing how to use the AI, right? So there is one more thing is for no code AI tools. So where the coding is not necessary, okay, there will be some filtrations for that. Students will be only understanding and learning, they will not be misguided or something. And one more thing is like sometimes the biasness will be there, like where the AI will be ruling higher, okay, and the misuse will be like the, if you see the blue whale and everything, the games and everything, that is also a bit kind of a concerning thing. But if we have the filtrations and this no code kind of tools, that will be helping our actual students to learn, okay, what is necessary, and we can filtrate, okay, so that we will be able to identify and filter what is needed, and that we can give it to the students. Okay. So that is what somewhere or the other, if they are learning from the school only, this will be like kind of they will not be going which is unguided. Okay. So that is what the major thing is about. Just read about it, how it is going to work and everything I have given. Okay. So if there is any doubt, you can ask. Otherwise, these are the things that we have talked about, you know. The goals of NEP 2020 have been made, it is meeting with that, and also the critical thinking will be increased where we talked about the max, right? So also the creativity will be keep on increasing. Then inquiry based learning will be there, problem solving and the practical understanding of things. Okay, so it is about like not only mugging up things, it is not about only just reading and just forgetting after the exams. It is not like that. It is something skill oriented. This is something which is actually necessary for where the problem solving skills will be there. Okay, so the problem solving skills will be helpful for them to think even in a broader perspective. They will be able to learn the details also. Thank you, Venkatatri. Okay. So that is what for the day. If you have any doubt, please let me know. As Venkatatri have acknowledged, there is no doubt. Okay, we are going to the next topic, which is okay, the BRICS meeting. Here, see again filtering out the political newses. Okay, we are just going to see what is the we are just going to see one thing, which is the statement. Okay, yeah. So the chair statement was issued, not the joint statement. So this criticism basically upon the BRICS summit that have been that happened into the April 23 and 24, this BRICS meet. Okay, in 2026 India is going to chair also. I have to check the year, I'm really sorry, but the next summit, the 18th summit will be going. Okay, so BRICS meet, right? So the 18th BRICS summit is going to chair by India. In that sense, okay, in that case, India have said this criticism is basically after every meet there will be two statements will be given. One is this chair statement and one other is joint statement. Chair statement is nothing but the host country, the chairperson country will be giving the statement what have been discussed and what they have agreed upon in that meet. Okay, that is the host meet, the chair statement. Okay, and when it comes to the joint statement is given by the countries who have attended that meet. Okay, so they all will be stating that as a proof they will be giving, see, on these grounds, on these basics, these discussions we have agreed, as a collaborative statement they will be giving. That is the joint statement here. But here they have criticized, take this Congress, okay, so take this center also, only it's about the lack of joint statement after BRICS meet. So this is what important for us. Okay. So here if you see, the after every meet there will be two things mandatorily. One is the chair statement and all the another one is the joint statement. Now in this BRICS meet we are not able to bring the joint statement. Instead we were like having only the chair statement, where they have criticized the center. You were not able to make upon this joint statement. So for that the central government have stated that, see, everything was going smooth, but the problem here is about, okay, the countries, the BRICS countries are not accepting on certain grounds for Israel and Palestine. Here they have criticized that India is being little soft spoken when it comes to the Israel and Palestine, and there is a shift in the position in this conflict, Israel-Palestine conflict, when it comes to India's stand, and that is why they have not appreciated. So that they have told, okay. But the actual issue here is about, the government have stated that, the government have claimed that the India's stand on Palestine's matter is same. Okay, there is no changes in that. Only thing is like the BRICS, we are not able to bring the joint statement because the BRICS countries are not okay with the Israel. Like there is no something, the common point have been brought when it comes to Israel Palestine things. So India's stand is same, but the other countries' ideologies are little different, their opinions are differing from this, so that's why it is not being made. Okay, so that is what the thing needed from this. Otherwise, because see, one more thing, why it is important for having the joint statement here. By that time, like from that we would be able to understand, like we will be having some common point, common interest or collaborative openings with the other countries. Okay, when other when we have UAE, okay, and also Saudi Arabia, Iran and everything, okay, basically based upon this, like if we have any common ideas, even though they have the different ideologies, even if you see in the West Asia, the Iran's side is different and UAE side is different, right? So these kind of opposite, the different opinion also will come to one particular common idea, right? So with that, the further diplomatic ideas, the further meets will be beneficial. But unless and until if it is been, okay, um, uh, actually accepted by all the parties, it will not be coming to an end, whatever the things, right? So the problem here is about, because of the West Asia's conflict, we are not able to bring the joint statement. The countries were not agreed upon the things. Otherwise, we would have brought in that. Okay, so that is what the central government is claiming there. Okay, and if there is any other like one more thing is, like we have talked about, if we are not able to bring the joint statement in certain things, we may lose the diplomatic relations also, like when it comes to Iran. Okay, if Russia is having different opinion, India is having different opinion, and we are not able to bring the joint statement there, there is a little slip over there, because if India and Russia is having a different opinion, that is completely fine, but it should not be rupturing the relations between India and Russia, right? So this the joint statement is kind of a something which is a band-aid kind of thing, which will be having that key that will be giving some diplomatic talks opportunities to those countries. Okay, so that is what the important thing is. Okay, so the last topic, which is about the Shanghai Cooperation. So if you see the Kyrgyz Republic, okay, so there is a meeting between the defense ministers, okay, of the member countries of SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization. We are just going to see this Shanghai Cooperation, because not much in detail, let them discuss and everything. So eventually we will be having. So first we are going to see the core things of it, then eventually after those finalized statement from the government, if there is any statement, we will be reading upon that. Okay, so our honorable defense minister Rajnath Singh have went to Bishkek, right? So there they are having the Shanghai Cooperation meeting. Okay, so in this it is like two different meetings. So the countries will be having the meeting, and along with that, the bilateral discussions, like bilateral discussions will be there between the Belarus and certain countries will be having this bilateral discussions, which is Belarus, Kazakhstan and Kyrgyz Republic will be having a bilateral talks with India as well. Okay, so when we see what are all the discussions they are going to do, first thing is about the regional and global security challenges. Actually, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization is basically a regional organization. Okay, so where they are going to talk about the security challenges, that the regional one and also with the global one. Okay, then the discussion will be based upon the terrorism and extremism. They will be talking, they will be bringing the mechanisms and the ideology, the things for countering the terrorism. Okay, and the defense cooperation, where the joint military exercises, the exchange of the defense equipments will be, arms and ammunitions will be taken, and the peace and stability in the global wise. We are just going to see what and all the thing is. So India's stand here, it is, we are just going to emphasize the zero tolerance towards the terrorism and the extremism, and also we are going to support the peace and stability in the global wise. Further extensively, we are just going to focus on the West Asia's. Okay, so that is what been emphasized here along with the strategic cooperation. Okay, so if you see here, the zero tolerance against terrorism is always being the like the priority one, along with your global peace and stability, where they are talking about the West Asia also here, and the strategic cooperation, there will be some the regional based growing together, that will be happening here. Okay, so if we see Shanghai Cooperation, so its core idea is to, okay, security cooperation, okay, along with the economic cooperation will be there, countering the terrorism, okay, the political coordination and also regional peace and stability. These are the major core ideas of Shanghai Cooperation. Okay, so and initially it have been like only 6 countries: China, Russia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and Tajikistan and Uzbekistan. Okay, so they have started the Shanghai Cooperation in 2001, June 5 precisely. Okay, they call it as Shanghai 5, but now around 10 members are there. One is India, who have joined in 2017, China, Russia already there, Pakistan and Kazakhstan, Kyrgyz Republic, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, these are like kind of a core like founding members, right? Iran and Belarus. Belarus is a recently joined, okay, recently joined country also. So these are the things you have to keep in mind. Other than that, what are all their ideas? Okay, when it comes to India, India have chaired the SCO in 2023, and also we have why it is important for India. It will be giving the strength to access the Central Asia also. If you see those countries like Belarus and also Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan and Kazakhstan. So all these things are like Central Asian countries, right? So we will be having the cooperation, the economic cooperation, political coordination, and also those the trade. Along with that, we will be having the defense cooperation also. So to maintain the peace and the stability in the regional area, in the Central Asia specifically, which will be eventually settling out down the West Asian conflicts also, we will be having a peace and stability there. Okay, so that if there is any peace and stability, it will be easy for the multilateralism to go with the trade, investments and also the growth, right? So that is what the major thing. The regional security discussions will be there. The counter terrorism cooperation, which is a major part. If you see, like along with the Pakistan and China is also one of the major things. So the terrorism threat is always mostly from the Pakistan, and China's having a backed by Pakistan, right? So sorry, Pakistan has been backed by China in certain cases. So where we will be having the counter terrorism cooperation there, and also the strategic balancing, where the China and Pakistan also will be working upon this terrorism. If it is not there, we can question them as well. Okay, so the opposition party is also with you, so then they have to agree upon your things, and you also have to agree upon them in a particular way. Okay, so why India needs SCO, if you see, to counter terrorism, okay, because our core values for countering the terrorism, and also what these two, peace and stability, right? And also Central Asia connectivity. Connectivity is one of the major thing where we focused on Iran Chabahar port also for the Afghanistan connectivity, right? And also the regional stability and the strategic diplomacy, where we talked about balancing China and Pakistan as well. Okay, so read about the Shanghai Cooperation. Otherwise, these are the things that is needed for us. Okay, so if you have any doubt, please let me know. Otherwise, we will have this 18th BRICS meeting that we, like in 2026, we are sharing, like India is going to share. Okay, there is any doubt, let me know. Yep. The understanding of skills is growing right now among the Indian parents. So eventually we will be having opportunities for sports and also the career, the skill based thing. That's it. ठीक है. Okay, thank you so much. Meet you all in another session. Thank you so much. आज का थोड़ा सा लंबा हो गया है, but ठीक है, कभी कभी. Thank you.